everybody, it's Samantha from Ahead. Just popping on real quick. Oh, I hate that when people say that, popping on real quick, and I just said it. So Ahead wanted to do a little Facebook Live video to talk about some of the issues that people might be experiencing or may be experiencing as we navigate this whole COVID-19 situation that's been happening. So just as a reminder to everybody, Ahead is still working. We're doing a little modified work at this point. So people are not typically in the office for one-on-one appointments anymore. We're trying to counsel people and meet all the needs that everyone has via phone or Skype or Zoom or through email. But we're still providing all the same services that we always have before. It's just a different format that we're going to be able to provide those services to you. So we just want to make sure everyone realizes that you can still get all the same services and counseling that you got before. We're just going to probably give it to you in a different manner than you're accustomed to. Just wanted to also remind people that you can, in order to make an appointment, you can still do those online. So you can visit our website at homesahead.org, click on the homeownership tab, and then click request an appointment tab, and it will take you to the online scheduler, which you then can pick which counselor and what type of appointment you're looking for. And you can do that all right through your computer or your smartphone. We then get notification, and then we'll be in touch with you if we need any kind of documentation or forms filled out before we have that a phone call, or whether it's going to be through Zoom or Skype or however you prefer. So you can visit our website, homesahead.org. You can also call us. Our phone number still working, 603-444-1377, or toll free at 800-974-1377. Those are the two main phone numbers to call us, and then you can kind of navigate the phone tree depending on who you're looking for and what types of services you're requesting. And then for anybody watching tonight, if you have any specific questions about the stuff that I talked about, my email is smarshall@homesahead.org, and you're more than welcome to email me with any questions or concerns, and I will get back to you. And if I'm not the right person to answer them from Ahead, I will most definitely get you in touch with who you need to speak with in regards to whatever you might have. So there's a lot going on with COVID-19, not just medically, but also a lot of financial stuff that can be or could be trickling down for basically all of us over the next few weeks. So whether you're still working or maybe, unfortunately, maybe laid off right now because you're a service worker or in an industry that, has had to, really social distance. And so now maybe you may not be having a paycheck coming in. There can be a lot of uncertainty and stress that's going to be added to the time that we have right now. So we want to just help people as much as we can to kind of alleviate that stress and let you know that you're not in this alone. We're here to help. And we're gonna all get through this together. And in a few months, we're gonna look back on this and be like, whew, we did it. We survived COVID-19. We're going to have shirts for it. So a couple things to right off the bat, foreclosure and eviction. There's a lot of things that are coming into play for this, and they're changing literally on the hour. So the state had come in and said that they were going to put a hold on all foreclosure proceedings. And I believe that happened yesterday. And so on a state level, New Hampshire said, we're going to put a stop on that. And then today, the federal level came in, and so if you have a mortgage with Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac, they've put a foreclosure pause on for right now. Doesn't mean that you don't have to ever pay your mortgage, or you can go on a spending spree and pay or spend this month's mortgage payment. You can't do that because you will have to pay it. But if you were facing foreclosure, or if you miss a payment and you're afraid that you're going to be going into foreclosure, that's going to be on a pause. So just rest assured that you don't have to necessarily lose sleep over that right now, even though you probably would, but rest assured that it's not going to be, anything imminent. They put some pauses in there in some places. Ahead is been doing foreclosure counseling for many, many years. We've been around since 1991. Right now, we currently have the only foreclosure prevention specialist in the state on staff. Her name is Mary, and she's been doing this all day, every day for the last 10 and a half years, and she's amazing at what she does. And so if you're facing foreclosure, or if you think you might be, whether it's through a bank or even just property taxes, if you're behind on your property taxes, I highly recommend giving us a call. We'll get you in touch with Mary, and she can help you through that process and help stop it. And, it doesn't have to be stressful. You don't have to do it alone. she can really help you navigate that and make it a much easier process, as easier as something like that can be. Things like medical bills, there have been a lot of things that are going down as far as, obviously they're saying that the testing for COVID-19 is going to be covered. You're not going to get a medical bill for that. Treatments is still kind of up in the air. A lot of insurance companies are saying you're not going to get billed for any treatment from COVID-19. But just rest assured that the medical bills and things of that sort, we can also help you navigate those and get into payment plans if that happens. So, we want to remind folks just to kind of take a pause, to take a breath, realize that this is just a little tiny blip in time. It's not going to be long term, and we can help you get through that. If you're having issues about being concerned about things appearing on your credit report as far as late payments or medical bills, collections, things of that sort. There have been some things that have come into play as far as guidelines for credit agencies and credit bureaus as far as how those things are going to be reflected. And so believe it or not, the credit reporting agencies have actually already had things in place as far as crisis. So there's actually codes when you have an account that goes default or delinquent during a crisis or a pandemic situation, where actually it's coded that way on their credit report, and so it actually doesn't impact your score. So rest assured, like during this type of situation, lots of times if you go delinquent or you have a missed payment, if it's this type of situation, your creditor is going to code it that way. You want to make sure it is coded correctly and you follow up on that and it reflects correctly on your credit report, but there is those provisions already in place. So it's kind of cool to know that they've already kind of planned that ahead of time. Things like when Hurricane Katrina happened, things like that. People who are in those types of situations that went default with their creditors could actually have that reflected on their credit report, so it's not having that negative impact. And we also kind of wanted to talk a little bit about, crisis budgeting. So I would recommend that everybody sits down and do a crisis budget right now. Even if you don't feel like anything's changing in your household budget, we're all going to have some type of impact from this. Whether we lose wages, whether we have an influx of expenses that we didn't plan on. I know for me, my kids are all now home, and so now my electric bill and my food bill is going to be increasing because they were all at college and now they're all here eating and leaving my lights on. So those things are going to be more expensive for me, so I need to adjust my budget accordingly. On the flip side, now that I'm working from home, I'm not spending gas money, so I can allocate some of the money that I would spend putting in my car every day to cover the additional grocery, electric, water, heat, things of that sort. So I recommend definitely sitting down and doing a crisis budget and involving all appropriate family members. And that can actually even mean family members who are children. So no, you don't need to involve your toddlers, and you don't want to freak your kids out about expenses and cause unnecessary anxiety, but it's an important tool in the toolbox of life, of learning how to create a budget. And what better time than do that when everybody is home already? And it can be a great, easy introduction to money management skills and teaching your kids about what things truly cost. I can guarantee most kids don't realize what you spend on water and electricity and heat. And so even just showing them those bills, they might be like, wow, our electric bill's $150? Then they might be like really blown away with it. So just discussing those expenses, talking to them about how things are changing, that we might have less money coming into the house or paying more. So we need to be more conservative and making sure we're shutting lights off and not wasting food, things of that sort. So it's a good way to have that conversation. Also start talking about needs versus wants. This is the time that we need to, make sure we're only purchasing the things we really need. We only need, one package of toilet paper. We don't need 50 packages of toilet paper, right? So talking about needs and wants and what things we can wait for, hold off. And then I would definitely recommend reevaluating that budget every single week, because right now everything is changing daily. So where you might be okay right now in your financial situation, work might change and you might have less income a week from now. We don't know. Everything is shifting and changing almost on an hourly basis. So I would recommend for now taking that crisis budget and reviewing it every single week at minimum, or when there's any major financial change into the household budget. And keep in mind too that this is a crisis budget. This is not a lifetime budget. This does not have to become your permanent budget. This is this temporary budget to make sure that everybody's staying on track and knows what's going in, what's going out, making sure you're giving yourself a little bit of leeway to cover any unexpected expenses that we might have that come down the road. And if you have any questions about how to create a crisis budget or what that looks like, definitely give us a call. We have lots of different types of budget worksheets and different forms. We can help you. We can sit down with you via the phone or through email or even Zoom or Skype, and we can help you create that budget. We can help you review it. It is a fact that, if you have someone holding you accountable to it or even just having a check-in call, you're more apt to stick to a budget. So lots of times having someone one-on-one will make you be a little bit more frugal. And just with that crisis budget, making sure we're having our priorities in check. So number one priority for everybody should be food and shelter. So making sure that that's the first expense that's coming out of your budget. Number two being, food, medicine. We've got to, we got to eat, and everybody's got to stay healthy. So making sure we have money to cover those expenses. And then third being heat, gas, water, the utilities. Normally I would say Netflix is probably not a need, but in this time it could be for some folks. Internet, definitely if you're working from home or your kids are trying to do online learning, definitely internet's going to be a need. And then everything else kind of comes below all those other expenses. So prioritize what's really, truly important. That's what gets paid first. And then we're going to pay everything else with what's left over. Definitely spending freeze on anything that's non-essential, really, truly a need at this time. And then, you might even find that you have some extra money in your budget. We're not going out. We're not as much, probably. Maybe we're doing some pickup at the door or some drive-through stuff, but we're not, spending as much money probably going out. We're certainly not going to the movies or bowling or anything like that because all those places are closed. So we could be actually saving money at this time. So that's a great way to maybe save some money, set it aside. And then when this whole social distancing is over, we now have this little extra pool of money we can actually take and go enjoy, a fun weekend with the family and use that money. And it didn't really impact our budget because we were saving this whole time. So give us a call if you need any help creating that crisis budget. If you want to talk about your crisis budget, we can definitely help you and walk you through that process. It's not a problem. Some other ways to help the budget, definitely, this is a great time. We're all home. So good time to clean out, sell any unwanted items you have, maybe start a yard sale pile. So when the social distancing is over, you can have a big yard sale. Get rid of all that stuff that you always say you're going to go through, but you never have time for. Chances are you probably will have time for that in the next couple of weeks because we're all going to have a lot of free time. And use up what you have in the house, so cooking, get creative with it. If you've got games in your house or crafts or clothes, figuring out what you truly need and what you don't need anymore, trying to reduce what you have to buy. Great time to start a garden. Perfect time of year, start your seeds, and then you could possibly even have a garden this summer and save some money on actual groceries and the vegetables. Maybe learn a new skill that you always try to do but didn't have time for. Maybe, you can YouTube how to change your own oil. And if garages start closing, I hope not, but if they do and you needed an oil change, you could YouTube it, maybe do it yourself and save, $40. Figure out how to hem your own clothes, maybe learn how to crochet. Heck, you could YouTube how to cut hair and cut your kid's hair. But on the plus side, if the haircut comes out horrible, they've got a few weeks before they have to face anybody, so you can let the damage grow out. But this is a good time to learn those things and maybe save some money in the long run. And the last little tip we want to talk about as far as money and expenses is we recommend you're not looking at your retirement accounts right now. It's just going to cause you undue stress that you don't need. It's a long game, right? Retirement is you're saving for the long term. So right now, this is not the time that we're going to be taking withdrawals out of our retirement account. And so we don't really need to worry about looking at what those balances are. They've changed. Trust me, they've changed. But they're going to bounce back as the markets do. So just let that money stay where it is. Set it aside. Turn off those notifications if you get emails or notifications from your retirement accounts of what those balances are, because you don't need to add that stress to what you're already experiencing. So you're getting permission from me to ignore that for the next few weeks and just focus on what's really, truly important, and that's keeping ourselves healthy and, taking care of our families. Let's see. Oh, I did want to talk about like your banking. So a lot of banks now are offering different types of fee waivers for different things. So I've seen them all across the board from, if you had a checking account that had a fee, they're waiving some of those. I've seen banks that their online banking, they might have charged you a fee if you did like the app with the depositing the check. I've seen banks are now starting to waive those because they're trying to encourage people not to come into the bank and use just the mobile banking app. So definitely look into your bank, go to your bank's website. You could even call the bank. Don't go to the bank because most of them are closing, or at least the walk-in part's closing. They're open through the drive-thrus. But call and find out what kind of offers they may be giving for discounts on fees and services, and making sure that you're taking those into consideration when you're planning your budget out and even planning your day. So if it means you don't have to go to the bank and you could do it all through mobile banking, this is a great time to learn about mobile banking. You've got time to do it. So recommend definitely doing that. And especially with your other bank account. So maybe not your local bank where you have your checking and your savings account, but your credit cards might be offering different incentives. Your mortgage company might be offering forbearance agreements, or in lieu of payment, or student loans. They're doing some interest. They're not really waiving the interest right now. They're not charging you the interest. You don't have to pay it right now, but they are putting it on the back end. So all these programs, they're not necessarily going to give you like a free month's payment, but they're going to put it on the back end and kind of do a little pause right now. So you want to look at those things and see what those kind of incentives are being offered. And if you happen to have a reduction in income, absolutely take advantage of those programs, so you're making sure that you're staying afloat on the important expenses: food, shelter, medicine, keeping those things afloat. And just to follow up, if you have any questions at all, feel free to give myself. Again, my name is Samantha. Kelly, Mary, or Matt a call, and we're all the staff at the Head Home Ownership Center. 603-444-1377. You can also visit our website at homesahead.org and click on the Home Ownership tab, and that will take you to all the different services we offer. Or again, you can always email me as well, and that's S as in Sam, Marshall at homesahead.org. And we are here to answer any of your questions, and we're more than happy to help anything you have. We're all going to get through this COVID-19 craziness. And like I said, in a few weeks, we're all going to be like, whew, that wasn't as bad as I thought it was. So again, have a great night, everyone, and hope to hear from you soon. Bye-bye.